Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm super excited to have you join us. Welcome to Spotlight with Ivy. Yes, we moved from Instagram and we are now officially on YouTube. Thank you so much for being a part of our journey. Thank you for coming along with us on this ride. I promise you it's going to be an amazing time in the house. Today we have an amazing guest. As always, all our guests are always amazing with their amazing stories. The essence of Spotlight basically is to be able to get the beautiful stories from people that are inspiring the world, being intentional about living their best lives, so we can inspire each and every one of us to do the same as well. And today we have an amazing guest that's going to be doing that tonight, sharing her story, and her name is Mrs. Olufunke Adenusi. You want to know who she is? I'm going to tell you to do about her. But first of all, remember to click the subscribe button just down there, just a little bell. Yeah, just click that, and so you can be first to know whenever our new episodes come up. Our episodes come up every Thursday 8 p.m. So remember to catch one of our episodes and leave a comment in the box in the comment box below. I want to know where you're tuning in from. I want to know what you've learned. Let's do this together. Welcome to our channel again, once again. And today I mentioned that we're going to have Mrs. Adenusi on because we are doing the finance series. What's this about? Well, we're just trying to help people understand people's financial stories and how they've been able to turn their finances around by being intentional with their finances, so we can learn the principles to apply in our lives as well. So, and it's for me, it's better from a personal experience that I just thought, okay, I need to be share this with people as well. So we're going to be having different people in the month of September coming to share their finance stories with us. Super amazing time we're going to have. I promise you this. All you need to do is remember subscribe and watch for new episodes every Thursday by 8 p.m. And remember to tag a friend, share with a friend, share with a colleague, share with somebody that these stories will inspire as well. I look forward to having an amazing time. I promise you it's going to be super amazing. We're on YouTube. More people to reach, more stories to be told, more people to hear these stories, and I'm excited. Good evening and welcome to Spotlight with Ivy again. Today we have an amazing guest. I mentioned this before. She's Mrs. Adenusi and she's the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Colximate Insurance Brokers Limited. Super excited to have her on. Good evening, ma'am. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Ibukun.
Good evening.
I'm happy to be on your show.
I'm happy to have you. Thank you for honoring our invitation and thank you for being here today. So to mention to everybody, this month in September, we're doing a finance series and we're basically learning from different people's stories, their financial journeys, so we can also come to the best conclusions on how to apply financial principles to make our work and our businesses thrive in these times, especially. Yes. So icebreaker questions. First question. Would you rather have an English breakfast or heavy, solid meal? What's your preference?
I like my solid meals because yes. Once I leave the house, I hardly eat outside. I don't believe in eating, unless I have a lunch appointment. The next meal is when I get home. I hardly eat in the office. So I prefer, and I don't take lunch to the office. So I prefer to eat, properly in the house. And then I'm okay for the day. I'm okay till I get home again.
Interesting. I like that. So if you had a day to yourself, what's the one thing you would do?
Now, I would like to read a book and I like to sleep. Those are some of the things. Those are two things I like to do. I like to read, but recently I haven't been having enough time to read. So if I had a day of no book as well, I will like to read, and I will.
What books do you like to read, though?
I read novels, especially Christian novels.
You can get some of our stories
I like Christian novels.
Coming up soon. You can add it to your library. So what is the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
The strangest food?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't remember now. Strangest food.
Have you seen a steak, a crocodile?
I can recollect maybe the mode of the eating. I can recollect going on a trip and my daughter we went out for lunch and we had to eat with our fingers. We had to have an apron and
Was it crabs?
It was seafood.
Oh, okay.
Majorly seafoods. I think they have some of the specialties and all, but bottomless. You could eat as much as you could. Yes, you could eat as much as you wanted. But the difference was that you had to eat with your fingers, and it was interesting.
Nice. It sounds interesting. So, what is one talent your children tell you you certainly do not have, but believe that you do?
The talent I don't have, that my children tell me I don't have.
But you believe that you do.
I used to be a good dancer. I used to be a good dancer when I was younger. They laugh at me, maybe because I haven't been practicing. But I still believe I'm a good dancer. I used to be a very good dancer when I was young. But I think because I just lost some flair for much of it.
Once a dancer, always a dancer.
Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for it. I think I just need to get into the activity.
You can try a salsa class, start getting back in the groove.
Yes, maybe on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I can do it at my convenience.
And I think when I was in my research, one of the things that intrigued me about what I found, I may have not gotten the right information, but you worked in one place, then you went ahead to start your own insurance company, like just one place. Is this correct?
Yes.
Wow.
I worked in one place majorly, and then another is very short stint of a year, and then I started Colximate Insurance Brokers Limited.
Both places were insurance brokerage agencies.
No, one was an insurance company.
Okay. And the second one was?
The first one was an insurance company, and then the second one was an insurance brokerage.
Okay, interesting. And you studied, I think you've been on the path for a long time because you studied, this was basically what you studied at University of Lagos.
I studied insurance at the University of Lagos, and I graduated in 1984.
1984. Wow, that's a lot.
Not long ago. Not long at all.
A short time ago. A really short time ago. Did you know that this was what you wanted to be when you were going into this, when you're going to the university? Were you sure that this was a path for you, or you just gambled, or no, let's pick a course? Or in the case of most times, it's always the case of they gave us this course. So what was your own story? Did you know you wanted to do this, or it was a case of they gave me this course?
In our days, you either a doctor, accountant, lawyer, and the beats. So I actually had the intention of studying accountancy and be a professional, but I couldn't meet the requirements for accountancy in the University of Lagos, and I wanted to study at the University of Lagos. I didn't want to leave Lagos. So I was offered insurance, and I have no regrets.
Did you have a reason for not wanting to leave Lagos?
Sorry?
Did you have a reason for not wanting to leave Lagos?
Well, because I'm a Lagos girl, born, bred, and well, I think again there was somebody singing a song to me.
Who was singing? Oh, so there was somebody that was about to. Oh, interesting. So you did not want to separate from your song singer. So that means you started hearing this song before you entered school.
Before I entered the university.
Oh wow!
Just before I entered the
wow.
university.
But when did both of you get married?
1987.
Wow. So you both dated for approximately just like 7 years. Wow. Was that the plan or it just happened that way?
It just happened that way. We didn't plan. We were just going and taking the day by the day and by the day.
Okay, but did he have any influence in the course that you deciding to pick insurance? Would you say it had any influence in you picking this course?
No, it didn't. It was just a matter of meeting the requirements at the university. And because it's also a professional course, I opted for it instead of finance or business admin, which is more general, I thought.
So this was what we were told in those days. You have to do a professional course. So if you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you are an insurance broker, it has to be professional. You have to be perceived in a professional light.
Yes, I wanted to do something professional.
But did your parents?
It was accidental. It wasn't really that I knew too much about it, but the little I knew and the restriction by my cutoff mark, yes, I preferred insurance to business admin. I thought business admin was more general, which was another option.
So it's a case of faith brought you here. So faith brought you to insurance, so to say.
Well, yes, God brought me to insurance.
God brought
faith
you
as
to
well.
insurance.
Yeah, that's still faith. That's still faith because it's destined.
Yes.
Since I have absolutely no reason to regret.
Amazingly. So how was studying insurance for you? Did you ever think of, oh, should I stop? Let me stop this and go back to accounting, or let me just stay here and dig in and put my best into it? What was your attitude going into was pre-degree allowed in those days? I'm not sure.
No, it wasn't allowed. I didn't.
Okay.
I went through the advanced levels.
Okay.
After my O levels or school start at the Methodist Girls High School, then I went for 2 years advanced level at the Queen's College and Unilag.
That's my alma mater.
So that gives you automatically go for direct entry. There was prelim. You could do prelim. I think there was prelim, but I don't know even if Unilag even had prelim for business admin. It's like you go for 1 year after O levels. You can go for 1 year after O levels, and then you get into direct entry into the university, or you go for A levels properly, and then you get proper A levels, advanced levels, and then you go into the university. So there were 2 ways of getting into the university. Maybe that the prelim will be like the pre-degree really, but it wasn't all courses that had prelim, that had pre-degree. No, it wasn't all courses. For insurance, there was no provision for pre-degree.
You're either in or in.
You have to go for your A levels.
Okay, really interesting. So I want to
at least in Unilag, yes.
In Unilag, okay. So I'm interested. What was childhood like for you? Did you have big dreams of what you thought you wanted to be? And now that you were faced with your Unilag decision of doing insurance, did you feel like you were compromising on your dreams at that time?
I'll say I was brought up in a relatively protected home. I was guided for most of my decisions by my parents, even though you had a say. So I I wasn't thinking too far, but with my upbringing and someone to look over your shoulders, someone you can talk to. I mean, in my parents, particularly my father, I was able to make decisions as the situation arises, as the situation arose. So I guess I didn't have the privilege of making too many mistakes. That means I am happy with most of the decisions I made. Childhood was interesting. We had a very close family unit. My father was very strict. My mother was there to temper the situation a little. But in all, there was love around all the children and the parents.
Okay, so you working your insurance job and then leaving to start your own company, what influenced this decision for you? Was it also as a result of the guidance that you're receiving from your parents growing up, or was it your own personal conviction that led you to make this decision?
I actually, when I left the insurance brokerage firm I started with, I was offered an employment with an insurance company for a good post, a good position, and its fancies. So I took up the job, but almost immediately I got in. I didn't feel comfortable in the insurance company, and I knew I was not going to stay around for long. So as events unfolded, I just knew I had to leave. So I wasn't going to look for a job. Something just said, no, I didn't want to look for a job. I was acquainted with the insurance brokerage industry, and I thought I could just go in there. So I approached my dad and shared my vision with him. And he said, he believed in me and supported me in starting up in his own way. But within a while, I was on my own.
Okay, so your father started with you in the beginning, and
yes,
then
he helped out.
How did he help
helped
you?
out.
How did he help you though?
A little of the financing, even though I had good savings, but we preferred it as well to some extent, which was encouraging, particularly when he told me that he had the trust in me, that he thought, it was all a surprise to, even for me, it was a surprise. I didn't plan it, but I didn't want to seek for employment. So it was a surprise to him, but he said he believed in me. And the little I needed plus the much I had was good for me. So many people, my brother-in-law also gave me an office to use for some time. My husband was supportive with his own car, which was the better car in the house. And we thank God. We thank God.
Wow. I think all I heard you say is your dream came to life because you had the right kind of support around you that were able to nurse this baby to fullness. So to say, last year you celebrated 25 years. Congratulations, ma'am. 25
Thank
years
you very much.
of making a decision of starting a business, even though you did not have any background in in business entrepreneurship. You took a chance and you started something and has lived for 25 years, has existed for 25 years. I'm really interested in knowing when you were starting in the beginning, when everybody was believing in you and supporting you, did you really believe in yourself as much as they believed in you?
I'll say I had a very disciplined home. I came from a very disciplined home. And I was lucky to also have jump-started my career with a good insurance brokerage firm, one of the best in the industry at the time, Glanville and Tovin Insurance Brokerage, Insurance Brokers. There you are taught so much of professionalism, accountability, timeliness, the procedure for carrying out your duties was enforced. There I say that I actually was able to acquire so much of the ground rules. But then I didn't know that I was actually being tutored into being an entrepreneur company that's being monitored, and you are also being rewarded for good work. Then you keep having more responsibilities and more responsibilities. Things like timeliness was not compromised. Things like, I remember when I started work, and one day I had to travel out of Lagos with my brother-in-law, and I bought some fuel and asked for the receipt. He was taken aback, thinking like, oh, you own your company, you own the money, who are you going to issue? Why do you need a receipt? But you need a receipt because you have to tender the accounts and to somebody. Even though it's me, but I wasn't looking at it that way. So those were the things, taking minutes, utilizing the minutes to develop into businesses and all follow-ups. All the processes were already in place. So by the time I started, it was just like a norm with, you being decisive, focused, and I still go back to God. It was not easy. It was not easy. I remember, sorry, Ibuko, I need to share this. Okay. I remember a day I was, I didn't know somebody was watching me, because when I left the insurance brokerage firm, I was heading a department, so it wasn't like I was too low in the management cadre. So, but I started without a driver. I had a driver when I was working. I started without a driver, and one day someone, I didn't know he noticed. Someone said, I saw you on I think it was Western Avenue. Then that's, I don't know, what was it called? I saw it on Western, Funshaw Williams. I saw you on Western Avenue, and you were driving and you were eating at the same time. And I was looking at it, why did you leave? Why did this girl leave Glanville? It was like I was suffering, because I had to eat and I had to drive, and I can't even remember whether the car had an air conditioner and all. But looking back now, yes, those were the good foundations that made today a big testimony.
So 25 years, 5 years after you started, what was still your perception about what you were doing? Did you think you were still going to go 20 years down, or you just thought, oh, we'll soon stop, let's just see how far we can go next? Not really. Did you think you were going to go up to 25 years? That's like my question.
I wasn't really making much of projections like, oh, I want to be here in 5 years, I want to be here in 10 years. But I take pride in the fact that each day we got more, we got bigger and larger. Each day our income grew, our investments grew, our staff strength, well, not too large, but we accommodated everything we needed to accommodate. We had a good staff strength. Everything was going on right. We were meeting our costs. the reports, that the financial reports too were very impressive. So we're just taking it one day at a time, and regulations, everything was going on right. We had all system, a good system in place, relatively good system, for which we were building on. And the next thing I realized, we were 25 years last year.
Interestingly, how did you know that it was important for you to be accountable to your business? Did somebody call you and tell you, or what gave you that insight to be able to know that, okay, in as much as I own this business, I need to be accountable. We need to get the receipts right. We need to do our financial books. We need to invest. We need to save. Where did you get your financial knowledge from? Or did it come from heaven? Really?
I mentioned my foundation, where we had to give, render accounts to the management, or to the supervisory person, whoever was supervising us. And then, businesses are regulated.
Mm-hmm.
You have to report to your regulatory body, which is National Insurance Commission. You have to send them your audited accounts, and your auditors will need some information. You have to also render accounts annually to Corporate Affairs Commission. You have to render your accounts to the tax authorities. So if you're not careful in keeping your records, it's going to be difficult for you to meet up with all those responsibilities. And also, it is good for you to know whether you're actually progressing or not, so that you can make your plans. You can decide, oh, what next do I want to do? Do we need another staff? Can we afford another vehicle? Or what else does Colximate want to do in order to make a landmark and to build and improve on whatever we are doing, and to do it right? It is important to do the business right.
How long into your business did you start making profit?
I think the first year,
The
we
first
started
year.
making profit. Yes, we started making profit.
Interesting.
Because we were privileged to have good introductions, or introductions to good businesses. And then because some of my previous clients who were ready to help.
So you have built good rapport.
We'll give you a little. Yes, yes. In any business, you don't limit your business to the business. I don't know if you got that. You don't limit your business to the business, in that you're going beyond the business to ask, how is madam? Are your children back on holidays as well? Small things like that will make the client at the end feel like a friend, and in some cases, a member of the family. So he's telling you, I'm going on holidays. Oh, okay, buy me. And then you are also telling, so when you develop a relationship that makes you that takes you beyond the business, you are able to be more a part of the life of the client, and you can go beyond the official level. But you must respect your relationship no matter, so you don't still go beyond your bounds. It is important.
That's very, very insightful. I wanted to know if what you're reflecting in your business also reflects your personal finance as well. Were you also practicing the same standards you were using for your business in your personal finance? And if so, how has that worked out for you?
I like to say I'm an Ijisha woman. And, we're very prudent. those people, similar to the Jebus, are known to be quite prudent in with their decision, and particularly their financial decision. I always justify investment decisions. I always justify also spending, what I'm spending on, to make sure that I'm incurring expenses that are necessary. Sometimes you're a bit frugal, more frugal than you should be. So but a number of times, sometimes you are more frugal. I mean, you could make some business mistakes in your business decisions, but by and large, we have in Colximate, we have made pretty good decisions, influenced by maybe influenced by the knowledge that we have acquired, that guided us. But of importance is that we were careful in not having too much of overheads, such that the profit turned out not to be too bad.
Okay, so that's interesting, but that's for Colximate. But asking for you personally as an individual, like, do you apply those rules to yourself and to how you manage like family finance, your personal finance? Do you apply the same rules in your finances?
I do. I think it's the personal that influence even the business. So even in the house, although the way we operate the house is in a number of times we were making decisions together. A large number of the decisions being made, even more than, apart from the financial decisions, a large number of decisions being made in the home are made with an input by my husband, or even for my own personal financial decisions, I still ask for advice. He has a say, because I believe that is the closest person, and that is the one person that can always tell you the truth, although based on his own knowledge. So he's going to guide you, and everything I tell people is in the interest of the family. It's not in my interest, it's not in his interest, but decisions, including financial decisions, are made in the interest of the family units. So how does it affect the children as well? How does it affect me as an individual? How does it affect? So sometimes people are surprised when I am when I have to tell them that, oh, I can't do this because my husband says so. And they're like, but it's your money. I said, yes, it's my money. And it's not as if he's going to come back and say, okay, bring it. No. But he will give you the best decisions, and a number of times I respect it. If I disagree, then we're going back to the tables to discuss, which is good enough.
Wow. So there's a principle of agreement that you both practice in coming to these decisions. What's the timeline usually for being in agreement? Is it immediate, or you have to work?
Most of the time, but I'll tell you, Ibuko, it's not 100%. There are times you want to give some money to your sister or your brother, and you know that he may not agree. So there are some of those small ones. But I won't say there is a timeline, unless there is a timeline for the decision. That's why I said, if we don't agree, then you can always come back to the tables and discuss again. So, but if there's a timeline for the decision, then we probably make a decision, and whichever way it turns out, whether it's right or wrong. Sometimes I will disagree. A few times I will disagree, but I always prefer that decisions are made together, so that you can hear another point of view. Mm-hmm. You can't be all knowledge. No, you can't.
Mm-hmm. Do you also apply this level of diplomacy in running your business? Or what?
I do.
Okay. The decision-making process for your business, what does that look like usually?
For most of the decisions, it's surprising, even though I have the last say, but I ask opinions from my staff. Oh, we have this business and we need to, this is what I think. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And then, why do you say so? And sometimes I give into their, even if sometimes when I don't really agree, I may give into their own suggestion because I want an inclusive management. I want them to feel part of the management. And then if I feel strongly about it, then I will justify why the decision should be, why I made the decision. And sometimes I make a decision and then I dump the decision if I feel that it's not working. And you'll see that, oh, Madam has seen, we had an auditor come and perform do some job for us. And because we were thinking of what stipend to give. I said an amount, my staff said a difference. Okay, she said, yes, madam, I will go. I said, what do you think? She said, okay, we'll go with your decision, even as minute as that, so that they feel a part of the my running of the company, they feel a part of the operations. If not, they'll just leave you that, oh, they won't talk. And you keep, a few times you make your mistakes and then they're like, well, she's doing it on her own. But you have to give them, it is important you give them a sense of responsibility. So that even when you are not around, they can make some decisions, knowing the direction, knowing that you have given them, you have tried to guide them on how to make decisions. There are times I'll say, no, don't discuss on phone. Communicate by email because that is permanent. That is in writing. It cannot be denied. But if you discuss on phone, the client or whoever, whatever other stakeholder can deny and say, no, I did not say. But if you write, so such things are, you can seem a bit not important or mundane, but in some cases, it comes out to actually help your position when things go, especially when things go wrong. Then you can say, no, please go back to this email. That you can't rob the email, you can't be erased. So there are some of the things that I love to guide and to teach, so that whoever, even when our staff at Colximate leave our company, I want them to take pride in the fact that they left with so much knowledge. And luckily for us, a few of them still come back years after, to visit, or they are calling from wherever in the world they are. And I take pride in that, when especially they are doing very well in whatever they are doing at any point in time. They even share stories about their own children with me and say, oh, madam, this is what my child is doing. They're just happy.
So I'm happy that you mentioned about children, and I'm wrapping up soon. I'm happy you mentioned about children. How many children do you have?
3.
3 children. Wow. Would you say that the same principles that you had your father in teach you, the same principles that he guided you on, and the same principles that you are helping them to imbibe as well? And how have you seen them use these principles to even win victories for themselves, especially relating with finance?
It is difficult for you not to inculcate your own beliefs, your own thoughts, your own ideas into the life of anybody that is around you, anybody, even apart from your children, even including my husband, you know. So the foundation, I want to believe that I gave them a good foundation, a very good foundation, just like I had been given. The only thing, however, was that a number of them had to leave the house for studies overseas at an early age. And I can only say I thank God that to a great extent they have still been able to, the foundation, they have still been able to maintain some of the cultures that I imbibed in them. But you'll be mindful that we all, as parents, I always say, even if you have a set of twins, even if you have a set of identical twins, they will have different characters, despite the fact that you brought them up in the same, under the same roof, with the same rules. They will still turn out a little different. I remember, if you don't mind, I remember a day in the church. I'm a Sunday school teacher, and I told, we have a set of twins. I couldn't differentiate them at that point in time. So when I saw the father, I told the father, I said, look, one of these your twins, one day I will beat him so much that he will cry to the house, and I will follow him and say, yes, I'm the one. He said, well, I don't know which one. He said, that's Kendi. He immediately knew which one was more troublesome. So coming back to your question, in the same way, I think one of them has really imbibed more of my way of life and tutelage than another one. But you know that they are also in different environments, and sometimes the environment they are in influence them. But none of them is completely out of line. I thank God for that.
That's really
because
amazing.
when you send children abroad, you never know. You never know what is going to be the end result. Because you are not there. You are not there to guide them. You don't know what they are doing at all, unless what they want you to know. And if you're going for vacation, they know how to tidy up if they want to. So we try not to be overbearing while we are here, so that they will learn to make a friend out of you and tell you so much, and so that you can guide as much even when you are not physically present.
Is there any particular story any of them has told you once regarding how they handle their finances that made them be like, she learns this from me, or he learns this from me?
There is a particular one, but I may not want to say it because she may not want me to say it.
To mention it.
But when the decision was made, I knew that is a decision I would have made. Yes. And there is another one, when he makes a decision, you know that, no, this is not a decision I will have made. And then when it doesn't turn out right, you are just there. You're not going to say, oh, I knew you wrong this. No, you're not going to say that. You're just going to help to pick up and move forward. You won't say, no, don't know, because they are adults. You are looking at close to 30. So they are adults in their own rights. So you try not to, they must make decisions, and every now and again they will make wrong decisions. So you don't rub it in on them. You just say, oh, maybe you should have been more careful. So you learn something from this, right? Okay. So it's not going to happen again, right? Okay, let's move forward. So what do we need to do? That's the way out.
Wow. Thank you so much, ma'am. Advice for someone just starting out and not sure if they should leave one dream to pursue their own new dream. What would be your advice for such a person, knowing that you even did it at such an early stage and you made a success of it?
we need you. Everybody is, you are in different environments. You need to look critically at so many factors before you make your decisions. Of importance is that, I mean, while I don't want to stress it, is you follow your intuition, follow your intuition. It is important, but also of equal importance is that you be a person of integrity. I uphold that in line with what Warren Buffett said. He said, look for three things in a person: intelligence, energy, and integrity. If you can't find the third one, don't bother about the other two.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Duncan, for
Thank
inviting me to your show.
Thank you for joining us. And thank you everybody for tuning in today. It's been an amazing time on Spotlight. Remember to click the subscribe button and share tidbits that you learned today. And don't forget to share the link with a friend as well. Until next time, have a lovely day. Bye-bye.